Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. All right. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, and I am always here trying to help creative women to find that place in their life where they have that work with ease lifestyle, where you are able to profit in your pajamas or lay up on the beach or whatever that looks like, where you're living a fulfilled life and you have control of your business and you're enjoying your life and your business. So this is a very, very, very special episode because this is our anniversary episode. So we have made it a year. We have done an entire year, which is very, very exciting to me. Just to give y'all a little background on how the podcast started, it was just a random conversation with me and a few of my sister coaches. And we were just talking about different stuff. And they were just like, Danni, we know you love your pajamas and, you're always helping people make their businesses profitable. You need to do something with that. And it turned into just a quick conversation. But I have that creative side. I also have that analytical side. And when the two of those things come together, you got to watch out because literally it was a conversation, maybe the last week of December, first week of January. And I launched the podcast January 12th. So that's it was a whirlwind. But I'm so glad I did it. It has been such a great outlet. And I've gotten to talk to so many beautiful, brilliant women. And as you can see right now, these women here today are some of the guests that we've had on. And I've been so proud to, have had them come on, to have met them. Some I knew before, some I met this year, but they all are remarkable women. So I want to give each of you an opportunity to reintroduce yourself to the audience, tell them a little bit about yourself, and, share with them what your episode was about. And I guess I'm going to start how y'all are on my screen. So I'm going to start with Tiffany because she's next to me.
Well, hello. My name is Tiffany McKinney. I am the owner of Balloon Company in Redford, Michigan, which is kind of close to Detroit. I've been in business for about almost 20 years now. I'm a certified balloon artist. I also teach balloon artistry. And our podcast episode, along with balloon artistry, I teach pricing your work. So knowing your worth and how to price accordingly.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, everybody's episode number is listed next to their name. So if they spark your interest and you haven't seen their episode, go back and watch it. All right, Sheila, you're up next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sheila Fluker, aka the Balloon Queen. I am the COO of the Balloon Squad with our headquarters location in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been in business for 5 years, almost 6 years. I love balloons, but I really, really have a knack for business credit. So I am a business credit coach. Like Tiffany, I also teach balloon classes for beginners. And I just love what I do, and I love seeing people make money the right way.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheila. Miss Monica Pierre.
Everyone, you have a powerful, impactful, and legendary story to tell, and you're the best person to tell it. My name is Monica Pierre. I am a speaker, an award-winning journalist. I'm also a story coach, and I'm founder of, we just launched last week, the Storymaker Academy, and I really believe that it's important for us to tell our story. So we talked about that on episode 31 with Coach Danny. So I'm just happy and so proud that this is an anniversary episode.
Right.
Thank you. And Raven.
All right, my name is Raven Brown. I am a bookkeeper and enrolled agent, and I help small business owners organize their financials and also understand taxes, how they can save money, and also while also staying compliant with tax law. And yeah, that's kind of what we talked about on episode 22 with Profits and Pajamas.
All right, Cherie.
Hey everyone, I'm Cherie Richardson. I'm the founder of Digital Innovation Media Group. We are a boutique web design and digital marketing agency. We work with professional service firms, and what we talked about were like the biggest, I guess, misconceptions of web design. As you know, we mentioned in previous conversation, not protecting it, not making sure it's performing well, it's protected. But also, it's not just pretty pictures. It's actually the one thing that represents your business globally, and why it's so important that everyone not only has a website, but has one that is built around a solid marketing strategy.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so let's get into some questions. I already had some pre-prepared questions. And like I said, if the audience throws out questions, we'll catch those as well. What are your self-care goals for 2023? And anybody who wants to jump in, go ahead and jump in.
Well, mine is, sorry.
Right.
Mine is to get outside more, get some sun. I've kind of been cooped up in the house at this desk a lot. So mine is to just get outside, even just for a walk, just get outside and get some sun, you know, I think it's important.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, mine is, I started this last year, but just getting away, taking a weekend just by myself. I took myself to Destin a couple of times, just my own little getaway for myself, my retreats. And that's something that I really want to continue, and just treated myself the whole time, mani-pedi, the whole nine.
I love it.
So I started Me Monday. So Monday, every Monday, I'm going to do something for me, which is like manicure, pedicure, massage, just going for a walk. Today, I actually did my Me Monday with my son. So just spending family time. So we did like a movie date and got pizza, got like a lot of snacks that I did not need. But it was fun. It was still for me. I did it for me. He was out of school today. So, just capitalizing on the time to spend with him while he still allows me to, since he's only 13, because my daughter's in college and she ain't really having it.
Well, Sheila, I am going to steal your Me Mondays. I'm going to give you credit 3 times. And then after that, it will be mine. I love that. I love that. Well, one of the things that I'm doing is slowing it down and not deciding that just because I can do in my mind 10 things at one time, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to take a look at it and go like, I'm not going to do this. And then I'll just say no, and I redecide. So just slowing down in 2023.
That's good. Mine would be to be more physical. Our job is very physical, and I feel like I don't stretch enough and take care of myself to make sure that I'm okay for the next job coming up and the next job coming up. So to be more intentional about stretching and just being more physical as we get older. I want to keep, doing this for as long as I can, but I have to take care of myself to be able to do that. So my goal is to get in tune with me and be much more physical.
I like that. I think I'm gonna steal a little bit of everybody's, because they were all really they were all really good. Okay, so what is the biggest lesson, business lesson that you've learned in the last year?
Oh man, it's been so many.
Yeah. I would say just setting boundaries. I mean, I went through a year where I was doing everything and saying yes to everything. Absolutely. Can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. And just sticking to and simplifying what I'm going to offer, and that's it. And sticking to who I want to work with, and that's it. And just saying no, and just making it easier for me to do what I love to do.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I'm gonna say capitalizing more on knowing my worth. This year was the year that I actually started charging for the business credit. I've been doing like free consulting for like the past 2-3 years, like friends calling and, hey, well, how did you do this? How do you do this? I'm like, oh girl, you just, da 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 da. And I really did not see it as something to charge for, really. I just seen it as, sharing information. But like Shanique just said, like knowing the boundaries when you're trying to run a business and then help everybody else out and then take care of your family, at some point, I just had to stop to say, okay, what's important? If they are really serious about growing business credit or whatever, I'm gonna have to start charging for this information. And that kind of started weeding out some of the phone calls. So I would definitely just say, knowing my worth, not afraid of sharing, but knowing my worth to know that my time is valuable and only certain people can get that for free.
And for me, Coach D was just basically this year, 2022, saying, no, I am not doing certain things and meaning it this time around.
Yeah.
Saying no to just because I can do it, similar to what Cherie talked about, is just saying no. That season has come and gone. And these are the things, this one thing, maybe two that I'm focusing on. And you know what? The world didn't stop spinning on its axis. Who knew? I thought I was holding up the earth.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can echo that, Monica. I feel like this year was my year to be unapologetically me, and the things that like mattered to me, and a little bit of what Sharika is saying as well. Like I know what makes me happy in my business, and sticking to that, and it's made a huge difference. But knowing that, you can say that no, and the world's not going to end.
Yeah.
The world will not end. It will still keep going. People trample on your boundaries because you don't uphold them.
Yes.
So I think that that's a very important lesson, because we have that fear. If I say no, will that terminate the relationship?
Yeah. I think for me, one of my biggest lessons last year is to not, for so long, I'll say, I let fear stop me from doing so many things, and just open up. Let's kick these doors down and see what's behind them. If I start something and decide it's not working for me in my favor, put your boundaries up and stop, but try some new things. The world is wide open. I don't have to stay in one lane. So yeah, have more perspective and have a broader perspective on my business.
That's a good one, Tiffany.
That is a really good one.
Yeah, I would have to echo all of you guys, honestly. I've learned like every single last lesson this year. Fear being a big one, super big one for me, just overcoming fear and trying to stay consistent and never like give up on this, because I really care about this so much. And knowing my worth, like Sheila said, sometimes you give out advice and things like that, and you didn't realize that this was something that I could be offering as a service, and you just think you think that you're just saying something that everyone should know, or everyone does know, like I'm an expert, and like just kind of realizing that and knowing my worth, like she said.
And I read something somewhere where basically it said, when you give out free advice, and I have to keep reminding myself of this because it just rolls out sometimes, but when you give out free advice, you're really doing that person a disservice. It's a disservice to that person, because one, people don't value things that they don't pay for. Two, when you're in a coaching situation, or you're working with somebody as a client, there's a certain amount of detail and depth that goes into that relationship. Whereas somebody asks you a question and you answer it, you don't really know the rest of their parameters. Like, you don't know their full situation. You haven't done the intake that you would do if you were dealing with a client. You haven't really done all of that homework. So you might answer that question, but you don't realize that that person's situation may not be what they're presenting on the surface. So you may be doing harm than good.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I had to kind of really internalize that, because it's hard when it's your passion, because when it's your passion, it just comes out.
Right. Right.
It just comes out. So that's a lesson I'm learning. I'm gonna put a ing on that, because it's still a challenge, because especially in, friendship relationships and stuff like that, you want the best for your friends, but you also sometimes, you have to kind of pull back a little bit and let them figure out some things, or let them come to you the right way, and handle it in a more professional relationship. So I'm learning, growing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see. I'm gonna try to pick a good one. What does your support system look like, and how did you go about building, and how do you maintain it?
It's an excellent question.
And the reason why I asked that question is because people are always talking about they want a mentor. They want, where can I find women that have the same interest as me, and this, that, and the other. And I don't think that people realize that that's not something that you just wake up and walk into.
Yeah.
So how did you get there?
I just feel like my support system is like, I guess in all four corners. Like, my family is very supportive. So my husband is my husband, but then he's also my business partner. So I don't have to question or worry about anything like, somebody trying to do, whatever people do in business and take away. My kids helped build our business when I had no employees. My friends have been good about sending it people that were looking for jobs, or, whatever, when we were hiring. So everybody on my staff is literally a referral from somebody else that I know. And I think that that's like really good, because they don't want to like make the person that referred them look bad. So, and they take a great care of me when I'm sick, or my birthday, or just, they're so supportive. You would think that they were just like a part of my family, and none of them are related to me. So my work relationship is very supportive. My home relationship is very supportive. I have a mentor. She's in the restaurant industry, but still the same. She's been doing it for 20 years and so much knowledge. When in the beginning I did pay for it, but now it's, not like that. However, if she started it back again, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because the information that I've got from her has allowed me to jump 10 years ahead of my time.
Yeah.
Especially in the balloon industry. Coach Danny and Tiffany, like, people are going out of business all the time in our industry. And I have been able to maintain with just 5 years, and I do this full time, me and my husband. Yeah. So, just all around family, work, and having a mentor, and other friends that are, business owners that I can vent to, or if I'm not making money this week, they can understand it. Or if I'm doing real good and want to go on vacation, they can understand it. Or, so I just think I have support in all four corners of my life. Awesome. And I'm extremely blessed for that, because I know that's not everybody's story.
Right.
Does anybody else?
I'll echo that as well, Sheila. My husband, he's incredible. Paul's incredible. And I admire him, because what I notice is, like, on weekends, he is off. He doesn't. He said, "Oh, I didn't check email in 2 days." I'm going, "What? What about the ending?" And I wouldn't know. So I haven't checked it all weekend. I'm going, okay. So I have to remind myself to mirror that. And I also get support from colleagues over at the university where I work here in New Orleans. And really what they do is they remind me of the things that I have put into the world. Yes. And the things that I will continue to put in the world. And oftentimes, I had to really apologize to God and say, you know what? I'm sorry, God. I don't thank you enough for the gifts that I've been given, even though I don't mean to say, well, anybody can do it. It comes across that way. And some of my friends remind me, like, Monica, get it together. I mean, you've done a lot, and you have a lot of talent. So they remind me, and I'm really grateful to that.
That's awesome.
Anybody else?
I would just add the other women that I've been in coaching programs with. I can reach out at any point in time and say, hey, what did you do about this when you hired someone? Or what did you do about that? And they're always willing to share what they've learned or what they've done anytime. Or even if they're just, like if someone said, venting to each other, like, girl, you can't believe this client did this or whatever. And you just need someone to talk to, right? Because, you hear about yourself all day. And so, that it's just comforting to know that I can reach out to any of them and they reach out to me and we can give each other that support.
Yeah, because you can't put that on your Facebook. You want to, but you can't put that.
Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah,
people
use wisdom.
And depending on how close we are, you will get an inbox from me immediately. Take that down.
Right.
That's a good question, though.
That's important too. Giving somebody that'll call you out on it, like, take that down. That's not professional. Like, we're not representing like that. So that's very important.
You definitely need that. Absolutely. Because in, relationships, sometimes, we want to say the warm and fuzzy stuff, but sometimes it ain't, it's not that. And sometimes, all my friends know, like when I get quiet, oh Lord, she don't agree with this. Like when I get really quiet, they're like, Danielle, what you thinking? Like, you really want to know before I get into it, do you want to know? Because I'm sorry, I can't consider myself a friend if I let you go left and I'm just sitting there watching you. Like when I see celebrities do that, I'm like, well, where are they friends? Like they real friends? Because I would have sat you down a long time ago and been like, look, we came too far.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So just throw it away like this. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're definitely not doing this. It's just, but it's that support, especially in entrepreneurship, I feel like it's so important because it's not, even though the internet will make you think it is not easy.
Right.
Right.
It's not easy. You're going to have some moments where you're going to, you're going to be questioning a lot of things, and you need to have that support around you. To sound off, or like Monica said, to remind you of yourself.
Oh yeah.
I'm also that friend. I'm like, so wait, so this one bad thing happened, and then you're no longer,
the whole house down, right?
And I'm about to go the whole list, the whole awards list, like everything that ever happened to you in life. I'm like, so you're not this magnificent person because this one thing, this one thing happened. But yeah, we have to build those support systems, but no, like you said, they don't just come naturally. Not all. A lot of times it's, because you're a part of a group, because you're nurturing to somebody else, mentors don't be just on every corner.
No.
I mean, but that's something I just see so often on social media is like, well, how do I find a mentor? How do I this? How do I that? But I'm like, it's really not just that simple. It's a relationship. I mean, it's not like, you just gonna mentor a random person that you just saw on the street. Something connected you and it becomes a relationship.
Exactly. And half the time when we look for mentors, we haven't even done the work ourselves to really take that person's time. Like you asking them this or asking them that, and you like, okay, then how long you been doing this? And you don't even know that yet. So you're not even ready to be talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta make sure you're ready for that mentor to take some of their time away before you want to just say, ain't nobody trying to help me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
Because I think that, all of the people that I just wanted to help, it was something that was there. You know what I'm saying? It was something that was there, was some fire that was in them. It was something that was there where I felt like you are ready for this. You're just missing some links.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't even bother to hit Google, I'm just
okay.
I can't.
Yeah.
What you want from me? Like you
Yeah.
like what should my business name be? I don't know. I have never met you.
Right.
If you've known you your whole life and you don't know, then I don't know.
Right, right.
And I have a business to run. I can't run mine and yours.
Oh, and
So,
yours.
Yeah.
like I'm only gonna be able to do so much,
That
Exactly.
yeah, that part too. You have to be able to keep up with it too. Like it's not. We are not business partners now. Like
Right.
You don't run to the well for every thing.
Ooh,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
That's a good one.
That's
Like
good.
I'm having a
That's
moment.
good.
I need some advice. I've hit a wall.
Mm-hmm.
But if you never got up out the bed,
It's the look. I tell people all the time, don't ask me anything you can Google yourself because you're wasting my time. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
If it ain't but sit here on this couch and look at the wall, that's what I'm doing.
That's your time.
Yeah, exactly. It's mine. I use it how I want to. So don't ask me anything you can Google.
Yeah, it's not a given, and people's time is very valuable. And like you said, as business owners, you have your own business to run.
Exactly.
So it's an honor that somebody would give you that time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I totally feel that. So I'm just gonna reach out again. Anybody in the audience, if y'all have any questions, y'all go ahead and put them in the chat. And we can address those, but we're going to keep this conversation going. All right, this is a good one. Get ready, y'all. How do you handle feeling stuck or imposter syndrome?
Yeah, that is such a,
That's a
and
good
sometimes
question.
I wonder if, I don't know what we call it, imposter syndrome, or sometimes not feeling worthy or up to the challenge. When definitely it can be a challenge. A couple of things. Number one is that I have to say, okay, you can sulk, you can feel beat up, but you can't do it for long. And I think about my father, who was a sharecropper, and he can dream and he can do this and he can be bitter about the previous season. But until he would start that old John Deere tractor and get moving, nothing would happen. So I have to say, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
And do what whatever, and figure it out, and know that I have to know everything. So, stuck and going like, didn't I just go through this a little bit ago and I'm doing it again? So that's what I've had to do. It's not always easy because you go, how many walls are in this room? There's quite a few walls.
Listen, start somewhere.
Right. Right. And I have a 48-hour rule. So it's just like cry, pout, fuss, throw something, whatever I feel like doing. But in 48 hours, it's a new day. Like, what are we going to do about it? So I'll just write down, different things, different solutions. Sometimes I don't even find one. But I am always open to, like Tiffany said, like different ideas and open to other things. So I always say I'm not married to anything but my husband. So something else comes up that is like, that. Oh, that's a new idea. I can go that way. If I want to stop doing something else, that's another idea. I am allowed to do that. Because I think a lot of times, I remember I had a venue before too, with my balloon store, and the venue wasn't making money. Like it was okay, but it really wasn't like worth the time. It really wasn't making money. But I felt so much pressure because everybody's like, "Oh, you got a venue," or "Oh, you're doing this," and "Oh, you're doing that," and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to shut this venue down because it's not doing good." But like inside of me, I'm like, "Oh my God, well, what is everybody gonna say, or what are they gonna think?" And I just had to get over there. Like, no, I'm not keeping this venue costing me money because nobody's paying bills in this house but us. So I just had to, get over it, that 48 hours, write down my solutions, and realize who I'm married to.
Oh, all right.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's really good.
I love that.
So I think it's a variety of things for me. One of the things is sometimes I get stuck and it's just start something. You know what I mean? If you're going to walk a mile, you gotta start with one step. Just put one foot in front of the other and do the next three things, and then figure that out. And then also realize that my decisions are not moving heaven and earth. Like I tell people, I used to teach a Bible study, and I used to tell the kids, the grass come up every spring, won't even ask it to. The world is still spinning. The sun come up every morning. You're not moving heaven and earth with your decision. So if you make a wrong one, it's okay.
Right.
And like you said, Sheila, give yourself permission. If this is not working, change course.
Right.
So often we have our eyes laser focused and you have other people in your ear, but it's really not that serious. If you feel like something is not working, child, turn around. And I'm gonna tell you what my favorite thing to do is take a nap, reset.
Oh, yes.
I'm the queen of the 15-minute nap. Let me close my eyes for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Put my headphones on, listen to something, and close my eyes for 10 minutes, and I can come back, and it's a new day for me. We're just gonna start over, you know what I mean, and keep it moving.
Right.
Yeah, and another thing is too, like Monica, what you were saying. I have friends that remind me constantly, and colleagues that remind me constantly who I am, the things that I've done. Go back and look at some of your previous jobs, some of the other mountains you had to climb. You lived, okay, well, we're going to keep on going, girl.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you have to ask yourself questions to kind of give yourself some positive self-talk. Okay, what happened? Is the world going to end? Okay, because if anything, you find out, well, maybe it's not the kind of client I want to work with anymore.
Yeah. Or
maybe my contract. I need to change my terms and conditions now.
Yes.
Because you realize you went down this avenue and you realize it didn't give you what you wanted. So it's like we said before, it's okay to change that. And so, what are we going to do after we get past this? Yeah, what are we going to do differently? And then what do we learn from this?
Right.
And that helps.
That's good.
Yeah. So for me, what helps me is kind of just calling it out. Whenever I'm dealing with like imposter syndrome or anxiety or whatever, I just kind of just call it what it is. And because sometimes I can get so attached to those feelings, I just have to say, this is anxiety. This is just fear. Like, just a feeling. This is not you. Like, it's a feeling that's natural. Most people deal with this. It's not just you.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps me just realize that it's not like Sheila was saying, I'm not married to that. I'm not married to that feeling. Like, I'm me. This is just a feeling. And I kind of move on past it. And whether it's like a meeting or anything that's making me a little anxious, I just kind of zone out for an hour before. I don't focus on it. I don't I just kind of free my mind for like the hour before. And that kind of helps me.
That's good, Raven.
That is a really good,
because I was going to say, I always remember that nobody really knows what they're doing. We all just making this up every day. So
everybody.
Everybody. I mean, everybody's making the best decisions with the information that they have because they never
That's
lived
really
this day before. They've never lived this day before. So yeah, I definitely agree, Raven, about calling it out. I'm like, girl, anxiety, I see you, girl. We're not doing this today. We're not. Yeah. And then, like Tiffany said, I try to do a thing. So if it's a balloon job that's got me stressed out, go pull the balloons out the room. Go inflate a balloon. Even if it's just, just one balloon, just because getting out of your head just really, really helps a lot in that type of situation. I will take a nap in a minute. When the world seems like it's coming at me too fast, I'm like, you know what? Let me go take a nap. I bet you're going to slow down.
Right.
Because a lot of it is just anxiety creates a different speed to reality. It makes it seem as everything is happening all at once and it's urgent, and it's not true. And so when you can kind of ground yourself and realize, you know what, I don't have to do these 85 things today.
Right.
Like, I just need to do this one thing. And for whatever reason, something triggered me to feel like I have to do all the things.
Yeah.
But another thing that I do, I keep a success journal, and I talk about that a lot. Like, I keep a success journal because it helps to be able to go back.
Yes.
And see, but you did all of these things.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel really silly when you realize that this thing is not even close to the magnitude of the thing. That, like, it might be a email you have to respond to that's got you all worked up. And it's like, but you finished this like hard course, or you like won this award, but you worried about this email. Like, it's got you worked up. But putting it back into that perspective.
Yeah.
And, making it, putting it back in its place and saying, you know what, it's an email. And like Tiffany said, if you make the wrong, if you give the wrong answer, the world is not going.
Right.
Right.
It's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
That's right.
And the other part too, like where I'm from, we have a saying, especially when we're maybe overly concerned about the reaction of others, that people aren't studying about you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's true.
About you.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, he shut down her venue. Okay, next.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
They probably didn't even
Mhm.
remember that you had it. Like,
Right.
okay.
Exactly.
People remember and don't remember at the same time. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
Mhm.
that
Right.
is very true. Like, we think that people are like constantly minds on us, and they're not.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right. You're
Or
right.
if they are, it's not for long.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think my biggest shake myself back into reality, if y'all have known me for 5 minutes, you've at least heard my grandma story. My grandma was the queen of standing. She stood over a family member at a funeral that was on the floor and said, if you don't get your up off this floor right now. And I was just like, oh, okay. They're not, she's like, we're not doing this. And
Right.
that's how she pretty much lived her life. So whenever I get deep,
Mhm.
I see her telling me,
Yeah.
you better shake this off.
Okay.
Right.
You better shake this off. Look, you didn't cry, you didn't did what you needed to do. Now
Yeah.
dust yourself off and keep going.
Mhm.
Right.
So that was a good one. Y'all did good with that one. I
Thank you, Coach.
threw
Right.
y'all for a little loop, but I wanted to see. I knew y'all were gonna come out magnificently. So how do you, as business women, but also just as women, how do you ensure that you're growing both professionally and personally?
That's a good one.
Well, I'm all about checklists. So like I'm always like I'm one thing you're gonna find is a checklist and a budget. So like I'm a budget for education, I'm a budget for my massage, I'm a budget for whatever I'm doing, or I gotta make a checklist. Okay, this quarter I'm going to this conference. Next quarter I'm doing this. So I'm always like researching and looking for things. I don't think it's the perfect answer to balance, because even without that, I'm still not balanced. But I feel like I do enough to kind of keep myself, I'm always a student of life. I love to learn. So I'm always looking to learn personal and professional, even if my friends might tell me something that, they might pick up something that I did and I didn't even realize I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't mind criticism either. So I guess just being open to my surroundings, but planning, which you can't plan for everything, but I try to plan and research things that fit for me and make sure that I'm constantly learning.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's something that I kind of struggle with. Like, I feel like in my business, I've been, shooting forward. Okay, this is next. This is next. I need to learn how to do this. I need this skill set. But personally, like one of the podcasts that I listened to, one of the other podcasts that I listened to, I was telling Coach Danny a little bit ago, they were talking about, somebody mentioned they had a wildest dream, whatever the wildest dream was. And I sat and I thought about it and I was like, I have no clue what my wildest dream would be. So often my business bleeds over into my life, where we, as a matter of fact, as soon as we get off here, I'm going up a little tomorrow. Like sometimes the cutoff time, because I work from home, everything is right here. But personally, I have to be intentional about doing for myself and reaching out, outside of balloons and balloon friends and balloon life to do things for myself. So I am now taking my Monica's Speaking Academy, because I've always been intrigued about public speaking. I feel like I'm a pretty good speaker and I want to expand that. So, and another thing is anything that I enjoy, I'm a teacher. By gifting, that's what I am. So anything that I enjoy, I want to do better. and I know it when I can teach it, you know. So anything I do, I enjoy and want to learn, I learn it enough so that I can teach it, and that makes me feel, you know, like I really know it. So
You're living out Maya Angelou, who said, when you learn, teach, teach
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Well, I'll confess that oftentimes I am so out of whack. So, so I've been slowing down, making it very intentional and integrating, because I'm like you, Tiffany. I'll focus on the professional. I'll focus on helping people with their projects. I'll focus on all these other things. And then one day I'll get a hobby. I need to get to it.
Right.
I need a hobby. So I'm working to integrate the personal into and the professional together, so it's not so out of whack and so one-sided. But it's I'm like Danny, Danny, it's a work in progress. I'm learning to do it. I haven't learned, but I'm learning.
Have to be intentional.
Yes.
Do y'all think it's like okay to go hard sometimes? Like, I remember when we first started the business, I was like, okay, we going hard for 5 years. Like, we ain't doing nothing. We ain't taking no trips. We ain't spending no money. We putting everything like, but I mean, I don't think that was the right decision, but I mean, like, am I allowed to ask a question, Coach D? Like,
you are allowed to ask a question. First of all, you know that when you come into my space, it's comfortable, it's home. You are allowed to ask a
We're not
question.
pajamas, doggone it.
Right.
You are allowed to ask a question.
So what do y'all think about that? Like, do you go hard for a certain amount of time, or do you go hard with a break in the middle? Like, which is more productive?
I think it's probably a personal thing of what works for you. I think it involves being able to really set boundaries and know when you're overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I definitely can have periods where, like, when I get into creative mode, like I'm in the hole, like I'm just gone. Like I'm just, I'm just like cranking out stuff. Now, when I come back out, like, it's months worth of work that I might have done in like, a week, but that's just kind of how I get sometimes. But I think you have to be, careful of that, of like, where is that point when it's, when it becomes, this has overtaken my life, because it's easy to look up and then it's like, when is the last time I did something for myself, or am I enjoying myself? Because that's the other thing too. It's like, if you're doing this, but it's like miserable, then that might not be the answer. Like, you still should be able to find joy. But I do believe that there are times when you're going to hunker down and, you got to make it happen, especially like in the beginning of businesses.
Oh, yeah.
When you building them and growing them, it's not going to be fun like it look on Instagram. I mean, that part is like, it's a lot of work followed by a lot of more work. Like, I mean, and so sometimes you make that sacrifice so that it's not so hard later, and that's, kind of where that work with ease comes in, because you did the work on the front end to set it up to where it's doing some of the work for you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having those periods. I think it's just some people never come out of them.
Right. I feel like where I messed up on that part is I should have had a conversation with my kids. Like, me and my husband were good, but with the kids, I feel like I should have set them down and let them know, like, listen, this is what I'm doing. Because I know my daughter was like, when the last time we did something? We ain't been on no vacation, So last year we were like, okay, we got to get back to, getting out the house and doing stuff, because I really was consumed with the business. But I feel like if we would have had a conversation to let them know, like, hey, we all went in together. Like, this is a sacrifice we all are making. So my daughter now, she don't even touch a balloon. She be like, oh no, like, she braids hair because she just got so tired of us dragging her to a job, blow them balloons up. Like, she don't even want no balloons for her birthday. I think it's important to have a meeting, a family meeting, so that everybody understands the agenda.
Yeah,
it is important. I think that it, like like Danny was saying, it's okay in a season, but also what you have to remember is that there's other things, like we have other experiences to have that are going to bring perspective to our lives in business and personal.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So because a lot of times once I do slow down and come out of work mode and go do something, like, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but I went and saw a movie Avatar, even though it was 9 million years long. It's amazing. But that inspired me so much. You know, it was like amazing to see, I always wondered, I was sitting there the whole time, like, how'd you work with people like this? You know what I mean? It was just amazing to see that, I don't know, that depth of creativity, but it always brings perspective to other parts of my life, including my business. So we have to remember that life is to be lived, and it's okay to grind for a minute, but you got to come out and do other things because you do need balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a business owner, you're not just working. You have to be planning. You have to be dreaming.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to carry that role as well if the business is going to grow. And so I think that, I say this often, you can't dream if you never sleep.
True. Yeah, that's a good one. That's
I'm
a good
stealing that
one.
one too. That's what I like that.
That's good. That's real good.
But it's true. You can't. And it's like, I mean, I was telling Tiffany the other day, like I was just kind of like in a fog, and I went go take Walter for a walk, and just being disconnected for 30 minutes, going take him for a walk. I came back and I was ready. I took out my notebook and I just wrote like all the things, because I needed that moment just away to really just not be thinking about the to-do list. But to think about that big picture. And even though I was sitting there not doing anything, it was not coming to me because I wasn't in the space to receive it. So we also have to create that time and space to receive whatever the next thing is, because we're not just responsible for what's going on right now. We're responsible for planning what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
That's good.
So anybody else on that one? On the professional, what are you doing for professional or personal growth?
For me, it's just like I'm a member of the American Marketing Association, and a lot of times they offer like perk benefits where they'll have a webinar, and the topics are always right at where I'm looking to go and grow in my business. And so I'll take one of those. Or, if a coaching program is really focused on where I'm trying to go and elevate to, I'll do something like that. And then I find that in that program, I'm also connecting with people, that I can support, and other who can support me as well. And in that, I'm always learning something. I'm learning a better way to run my business, a better way to, do something in my business. And so that's something that's really part of what I do. My Mondays and Fridays are my CEO days. And those are the days that I take to really look at, what can I do in my business to be better? Whether it's taking a class or taking something out of my coach's course or something like that. But it's something that I'm doing that I'm always trying to learn something new to do to make myself, more just better at what I'm doing or more efficient.
Yeah, I like that.
It's good.
And for me, I would say just getting myself out of my comfort zone and making sure I'm talking to people about my business every day, every week. Because every time I do that, I always gain something, whether it's knowledge, a new client, or something like that. So yeah, just making sure I'm talking about my business. That's something that I sometimes don't do, but just going up to strangers and telling them what I do. And personally, I would say just making sure I take the time to do something for myself. Whether it's cook a meal or do some yoga or take a walk or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I try to put myself in uncomfortable spaces.
That's good.
Like speaking classes and such.
The greatest gift of all.
But no, I try to I made a promise to myself several years ago that if the only reason I'm not doing something is because I'm scared, then I have to do it.
Mm.
And so
Excuse
that's my like way of like growing and changing. And like, you know, sometimes even when I join a different group or something like that, like, you know, you have that initial feeling of like uncomfortable, not a bad uncomfortable, like it's not a fit, but just like you already know it's about to stretch you.
Mhm.
And I used to shrink away from things like that. So it's now just leaning into it. Like, yeah, this is going to make me uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to expose some parts of me that I maybe don't want to, you know, deal with, but it's going to make me better in the end. So let me just lean into it. And Monica knows I just tell on myself. I'm like, so I don't like this. I'm just telling you this right now. Not so you don't challenge me in that way, but so that you will challenge me in that way, because I'm telling you up front that I don't like this. I don't want it. I don't want the fact that I can hide real well in the back to keep me from having that growth moment. So that's what I've been doing professionally, and I think personally just learning to like be comfortable in being fully me and not thinking about it too much. Which is, you know, learning ing.
Coach Danny eats her spinach, and she, even though she doesn't like it,
Right.
ooh, spinach.
All right, so I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know we can do this all night long.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm gonna give y'all one more question before we wrap up. Let's see. I'm gonna try to make it a good one. Okay. How do you avoid burnout?
I burn out and then I deal with it.
Sheila, we're gonna have to talk after.
Right.
That's why I started Me Monday, though. That's why I started Me Monday. So
okay,
that's how she does
will help with that.
Okay.
Because before I just burn out and I'm just like, my body tells me like, hey, nut, sit down. And I was like, I'm not doing that this year. I'm not doing that. I need to learn to relinquish authority. I have people that are well and capable. I don't have to be involved in everything. And that was my issue. But now I'm learning to, you know, chill out, and I ain't got to be at that shop every day. I've been going, I think the 2 weeks without even going up there. So like I'm learning, and that is not going to be my testimony 2023. I will not burn out this year.
All right.
Yeah. I would say the same. I look at what do I like doing in my business and what do I not like doing in my business that's burning me out. And then I just start that job description.
All right. That's good.
I've learned that
That's good.
you know, you can't do it all yourself. The things I don't like to do. I like doing things that, I mean, I like the fact that I've done it before, so I know how to do performance management on the person who I'm going to hire. But if it's something that's like taking my time or eating up a lot of time, then I'm just going to hire it out.
And for me, it's recognizing my signs. You know, when I feel like I get up, get ready, put some makeup on, and then the next moment I remember is that I'm taking my makeup off, and everything in between was just a blur, and can't even tell you what I did, where I went, you know. But, and this is weird, but I've gone back to what I like to do, and that is to get up at 3:30, 3:15, 3:30 in the morning. I know. I'm a morning person.
I was going to ask you, was it in the morning?
Oh, you're a real morning person.
I'm a real morning person. I don't have pearls on the clutch, but I'm clutching them right now.
Like an afternoon.
I just kind of wake up. It is so peaceful. I can't explain that hour, you know, and it's just, I'll just read a little bit and then I can maybe go back to sleep. But it's like it's kind of giving myself that, but I know unless the world has come to an end, nobody's calling, you know.
That is
and
true.
it's just my little time. Yeah, you know, there's 2-3 o'clocks, right? There's one in the afternoon and there's one in the morning.
I go to 3 o'clock in the morning, but not from waking up at that time. I may still be up. Right.
No,
Right.
not that
I'm
I
not
cannot
waiting
do. I do
on
not do
him.
that. I cannot stay up till 3. I'll get up at 3, but I do not stay up till 3.
Yeah, I'm on
Wow.
the other end of the time spectrum.
Wow.
It is like, whoa, okay.
At 3, I was like, in the afternoon? Surely she does not mean in the morning.
You just have me 3 in the morning, right? Yeah.
She cannot mean. Wow.
You cannot mean that.
My
Well,
grandmother would call that waking up with the chickens.
ooh,
Mhm,
now the
mhm.
chicken's even up.
Somebody has to wake the chickens up and the worms.
You doing it
Somebody
for
has to
sure.
She is like, when I lived with my grandmother, she would wake up at 3 in the morning, and somewhere between 3 and 6, for some reason, she had to bang the pots. I don't know what was happening, but it would happen. And when I moved out, she would call me at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I had to tell her, I said, Grandma, I said, don't call me before 9 a.m. She said, I've been up for hours. I waited.
Right.
Right, right. And I'm one of those people like, good morning, hi, how y'all
Yeah.
doing? I'll be like, it's 3 in the morning.
No.
Is your husband like that too?
Lately, he kind of like gets up, but then he goes right back to sleep. But no, I'm the only.
Okay.
Mother said I was born early mornings, and that's what she always says to me. I'm going, okay, but I like it. You know, it's
There's
mine. It's
nothing wrong with
mine,
it.
and
Hey, it's
nobody
yours.
wants it. Nobody
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
it.
Right. Nobody else
Enjoy
wants
it.
to have.
Enjoy it.
It's all mine.
That is something. But I set firm boundaries. That's what keeps me from burning out. You know what? Really, I used to be a morning person. It wasn't 3 o'clock in the morning early, but you know, I could get up pretty early. But I struggle with insomnia now. So I do often see 3 o'clock, but it's because I sleep for a couple hours, then I'm up for a couple hours, then I go back to bed. But I am very firm about my boundaries. I don't move early morning unless it's, like I will for a job, but not very often. I like to take it slow. I like to have my coffee to think,
Yeah.
to just process, and then I start my day. I don't, and I don't take listen, I'm like, okay, my business hours start at 9, but my mind and my life don't start till 10. I know it's just how I roll. But I'm very firm about my boundaries. And last year I had to like check myself. It's 12 o'clock. Why are you working?
Yeah.
Reel that in. Turn the TV on. Pretend. I don't care if you pretend to watch something. At 6 o'clock, when your office hours are over, shut it down.
Right.
Shut it down. And I had to make myself kind of get in that mode. Otherwise, there was no personal, and I would burn out. Oftentimes I work by myself. I contract out as needed. This year, I'm hiring people because I don't want to do things I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do everything. I can't grow if I'm by myself doing this because it's a very physical job. I can't grow if I'm going to do this by myself. But I have to be very firm about my boundaries. Otherwise, I will burn out very easily because there's always something to be done,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's just making sure I take at least one day off per week. I haven't gotten to a full 2-day weekend yet, but for the weekend, if I'm going to work Saturday, I'll make sure I don't work Sunday. If I don't work Saturday, then I might do a little bit on Sunday, but just one day where I don't open my laptop at all and just don't do any work at all. So.
Yeah.
I have Mondays. Monday is my off day. I have to kind of renegotiate that a little bit because with the coaching and stuff, so like, a lot of times I'm doing that type of stuff on Monday. But when I started Monday as I only do things on Monday that I want to do. So like if like say I'm behind on something and I want to catch up on work, then I do that, but I don't feel an obligation to do that. So even if I'm behind and it's Monday and I just feel like laying on the sofa, then that's what I'm gonna do on Monday. And I do, like Tiffany said, respect those time boundaries. So even if I'm up at 3 a.m. and I'm checking emails, I use my delayed message because you're gonna get that message between office hours. Because I don't even want you to think that I'm answering you in my personal. I don't want anybody to think that my personal time is their time.
Yeah.
And that they can take on that time. And just, I got Walter. Y'all know Walter will come in a second. I named him my self-care manager. That's my dog, Raven. I named him my self-care manager because he will, like, on Mondays, if I pull out that laptop on Mondays, he will lay right on top of it. Like, so first of all, you told me Monday was off.
He like, I'm not punching in.
About 6:30, here he come. It's time, and he will let me know when it's time to take a break. So if I am kind of in the zone where I'm not doing it myself, I do always have my partner that's gonna come tell me that it's time to stop working. But just trying to be more present, because like, Sheila was saying about, the kids looking up and being like, because that's when you really notice it, when the kids are like, you don't have the time to really devote to the things you used to do.
Right.
And so trying to be present when we are having family time, trying to be present with that. If somebody comes with an order and it's not, a significant order and it's going to cut up our family time, then the answer is no. And I just have to be, firm in that and be, okay in that, and just leave it where it is. And know that it's not the end of the world. Know that, the same person that wants this thing from you, they have their boundaries too. They got off days. If they work a job, they got 2 off days. They got Saturday and Sunday off. So, why is there an assumption because you're a business owner that your time is available at all times? So just trying to, keep track of those things. And then also just making sure, this year, my word of the year is joy. So I'm making sure I'm scheduling time for joy.
That's good.
Great.
All right, ladies, this has been so fun. And I could sit here all night because I love all of you and your brilliant minds, and I just like talking to y'all. Let's be honest. I just like talking to y'all. But I want to wrap it up. I want to honor y'all's time. As we wrap up, I'm going to go around and I'll start from Shariq and go the other way this time. And I want you to, one, give, any closing words that you want to give to the audience, what is going on with you right now, and if there's something that you are promoting. And when we post this on Wednesday, I will add links to everything that the ladies are talking about. So if you go to the show notes, you'll be able to find links and connect with these ladies.
So one thing I would like to add is just what I said earlier, is just make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things in your business. That is one thing that I'm practicing this year. So I'm speaking to myself, is to find that one thing you love to do and just know that you deserve it. You deserve to do what you love to do and nothing that you don't want to do in your business, not because people are telling you that you should do this or you should do that. And so that's what my piece of advice that I would give to anyone in business. You can find me at Digital Innovation, all one word, lowercase, M as in Mary, G as in go.com. And my lead magnet for web design is 10 must-haves for a high converting website. And you can find that on my website. As soon as you go there, there's a nice start here button. Just click that, and that will take you to the page where you can upload your information or give me your information, and then I'll send that right out to you.
All right. Thank you, Shariq. All right, Raven, you're next.
So first of all, I just want to thank you, Danni, for putting this together and congratulate you on your 1 year.
Thank
you. And also want to thank you, ladies, for all of your insights and inspiration. You truly are inspiration to me. I am gearing up for tax season with my business, and I'm offering $50 referral bonuses for any new tax clients that I get. So yeah, I'll send you information.
All right, Monica, you're up next.
Coach Danni, I just want to say I am so proud and happy. Your podcast, it's your 1 anniversary, and I can't believe I didn't think of something like this. This is amazing. Everybody should do something like this when they meet a milestone. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Storymaker Academy launched last week, and the next session will be in the fall, but I'm working on a masterclass in early February. So I'll have more details coming on that, where we talk about your story and the importance of your story. I'm always like, people are going like, please, enough of the stories, but I believe so much in the power of the story, and particularly if we don't intentionally and boldly tell our stories, that our stories will fade away. So that's why I'm really, really passionate about that. And it's MonicaPierrePresents.com.
And Monica, don't give up on the story. You could talk about it a million times because it's so needed.
Oh,
it is so needed.
Thank you. And you all have fabulous. I made notes because I'm going to be calling y'all to be on my Powerhouse Woman show.
Hey.
Always looking for great stories. Be warned. Yes. Don't ignore me.
And if y'all don't listen to the Powerhouse Woman show already, please do, because it's always like every time I always walk away with the gem. So
thank you, Danny.
So put that in your notes as well, Monica. So I will have that for the audience. All right, Sheila.
So it's Sheila again, aka the Balloon Queen. Thank you, Coach Danny, for having me. More importantly, thank you for this podcast. Thank you for a safe space. Not that we don't have to be professional, but to just have girlfriend time and chill and be ourselves and not be, you know how we get. It feels good. It feels good.
Yes, it
you know,
does.
So I appreciate that, because not everybody platform invites that type of behavior. So thank you for that.
Yes.
I am having a business credit boot camp where we are unlocking your potential, maximizing your performance, and inflating your profit through business credit. So follow me, Sheila Fluker, the Balloon Queen on Facebook. Coach Danny will have the Calendly link for the class. It's also on my Facebook page. But if you need me, you can always email me or call the store or on the website, theballoonsquad.com, like THE Balloon Squad, because I know my accent. People think I'm saying DA for some reason, but it's the Balloon Squad, not the Balloon Squad. Yeah, so that's what I got going on, and I appreciate all you ladies. Just your feedback and everything from the answers and stuff. Like, I got my own little notes that I wrote down. So yeah, but I'm loving the you can't dream if you don't sleep. Like, I'm taking that.
That's good.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
That's good.
It sounds like it's gonna be a t-shirt.
Listen, that's good. And it's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you for that, Sheila. I really do want this platform to always be comfortable and casual.
Yes.
Because, you know, as you can see just from the ladies that are here and all of the ladies that have been on, they have the expert knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They have it. They are brilliant. But sometimes, you know, the information gets lost because, you know, we're being a little too prim and proper.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes we need to hear it, you know, in a more down to earth way, in a more relaxed way. And so that's really a big part of, you know, what I want to bring to the podcast. So thank you for sharing that, Sheila, because that is like a big part of what I want. Is to, you know, let's get comfortable. That, you know, we in our PJs. We gonna get comfortable. You can't be stuck up in your PJs.
Right. That's true.
All right, Tiffany.
Well, I'm gonna echo what everybody else has said. Congratulations. First of all, being consistent can be difficult. So I applaud you. I really do applaud you. And your episodes are fantastic. You know, I always walk away with the gem. I'm honored to meet all of you ladies and spend time here with you. Let's see, but Pabloon Balloon Company, we're in Redford, Michigan, very close to Detroit. So if you're looking for balloon decor classes to get started with learning balloon artistry, we have classes starting in April. That is not on my website yet, but it will be very soon. We're going to start those classes in April. The pricing for private business boot camp is for anyone in the event industry, where we teach you to know your worth and to price your work accordingly. And that is on the website, which Danielle will have. And sign up. That's
All
good.
right.
And Tiffany, you can't say it'll be on the website soon because she'll be texting you tonight and in the morning.
I was just gonna look. I hadn't
I
stopped
know.
recording yet. I had not stopped recording
Listen,
yet. Oh, I was
this
going
was
to get on it.
confirmed between 2 dates with my
Look,
event
I was
space.
gonna get on it. I was gonna let you know that this is gonna air on Wednesday, so you have time.
Okay, all right. I should know better, Sheila.
Y'all been knowing me way too long. But I really want to thank you ladies from the bottom of my heart. Because this really was a heart project, just to, do this, to, open up in a little bit of a different way. On my social media, I share as well, but on this podcast, I share a little bit more. I get a little bit more vulnerable. And for you ladies to put on your PJs and get in it with me, in this way, is really just touched my heart. To see, if you would have told me when I first thought about this that this is where it would go, I probably would not have seen it, because I was just like, I don't even really listen to podcasts like that. Like, what do they like? Let's try this. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about every week? It just, all of these different thoughts of like, what if, but I'm glad that I did it anyway, despite the what if. I want to thank each one of you for just coming on, because sometimes people are like, what? I don't know, but for just coming on and sharing your knowledge. The feedback that I've gotten has been amazing, especially from the guest episodes, and just hearing from people, oh, I realized this, or oh, I changed this thing in my business because I heard this episode, because I never thought about this thing. And really, like Sheila said, meeting people where they are. And so that they are really hearing the information in a more relaxed way, and it not going over their heads, because everybody who's an entrepreneur is not doesn't have a master's in business and have that that background where they know what all this stuff means. Like, you don't know what you don't know until somebody puts it in front of you. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank Tiffany. Tiffany was my first guest, and I don't feel like she really wanted to
I was like, do what
now? Look, there's a couple of times where I feel like I was, I was just pulling teeth. Like, I'm like, they like, you want me to get in front of people and do what?
Right.
Because it's outside. It was outside of my comfort zone, and I could understand it was outside of theirs as well. But I'm like, I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm taking all of y'all with me. We do, we're doing this. And I've had a few of my my guests in our pre-conversation talk about how they want to do more, podcasts or like public speaking or whatever. So just, I feel honored to for you to take that step with me, if, knowing that that's an uncomfortable step. So I want to say that, Monica, like, you're like, you are like an icon. So to me, Monica, came to my birthday celebration, and my husband said, "Babe, Monica Pierre's in our house."
That's crazy. That is so crazy. But tell us the first part of it, Danielle. Tell us that I'm a nut as well. Not only do I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm the first one at somebody's house.
She's an early bird. We're gonna tell all your business, Monica.
Well, you got to tell the whole story. If
but
you're gonna tell.
I'm the first one there. Okay.
But I'm just saying that to say, even when I was a guest on your show, like, my friends were like, we were just like, they were like totally geeked out about it. So I'm just so honored to, one, have met you, to have worked with you, and to now be able to call you a friend is just, it just is. It just is
awesome.
Yeah,
it just is. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. We're not
the
gonna
best,
cry.
the best party. It's like it was the queen.
We're not gonna cry, but I mean, you ladies are absolutely brilliant, and I think another piece to it, just putting it out into the universe. to be able to have all of this brilliance come from some beautiful brown faces.
Yeah.
It's meant the world to me.
Yeah.
It has meant the world to me. And so I want to thank you for being here, but I also just, I hope everybody listening is, going back and following each one of these ladies.
Yeah.
All of the ladies that have been on the show, following them, keeping up with what's going on with them, taking part in the things that they are offering. You're not going to go wrong with, working with these ladies because they know their stuff. And as you can see, they're, loving, caring people, because that makes a difference as well, because your business is your baby. And if you're going to work with somebody, if you're going to invest with somebody, because that's what ultimately, you're making an investment with your business, you want to invest with good people. Right. And anybody who's known me long enough knows I only mess with good people. It's that good energy, or it's nothing at all. So
right.
Get in the show notes, sign up for what these ladies have to offer. Tax season is a coming. Raven said she has a referral bonus. So don't just sign up for you, sign up everybody you know.
That's right.
So not only are you going to get your taxes done, but you're going to make some money off of it. She is telling you how to maximize your website. That is huge, huge. The majority of the clients that I have are off of my website, not, the social media and all those other things are great, but your website is hugely important. We can't forget that in the age of social media.
Absolutely. So, absolutely.
All right. Before I lose my mind, and I'm going to be in that credit class. Listen. So if you want to have some more fun with me and Tiffany, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
I can't wait.
We will be there. So I'm gonna close out. Thank you, ladies. Thank all of the listeners for sticking with me. Everybody who's reached out and, said, that it touched them. I had somebody say, I just need my weekly dose of Danielle. And they just, that's their reason for listening. And I appreciate that too. So thank you. And I will see y'all next week.
All right.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDanniD.com.